Excerpts from Saint-Emile's Bestiary, Chapter 11, on the Common Vampire. Introduction. The common vampire dwells in the interior of Europe, most often in the foothills of the Carpathian Mountains. All vampires of the world share several basic similarities, and the current model of understanding has led me to the belief that the common vampire is the common ancestor of all other vampire species. While all other vampire species have adaptations suited to their environment, the common vampire is the only one with no defining unique characteristics. Indeed, its notability comes from the fact that it is a template of sorts, for other vampire species to be modeled off of. Understanding the anatomy and weaknesses of even only the common vampire will give you an advantage over all species of such you may encounter in your travels, the importance of which cannot be overstated. Even the banal common vampire is many times more powerful than a human, and poses a significant danger in combat. I suggest you use this chapter to arm yourself with the knowledge that might one day save your life. Anatomy. The common vampire is largely similar in shape and form to Homo sapiens, an erect biped, with a wingspan roughly equivalent to its height. The most obvious feature discerning them from a human is the shape of their hands. The vampire's hands are claw-like, with long, hard nails extending up to 2 centimeters, often sharpened to a point. The muscles in these hands are taut and powerful. They can be quickly contracted to exert immense pressure on anything in the vampire's grasp. This ability is commonly used to crush the skulls or bones of prey. Naturally, the vampire's teeth are the second source of notability. The fangs of a vampire are stuff of legend, and it is difficult to extricate myth from fact. Dissection of the adult specimens have noted sexual dimorphism in the dental region. While males have 28 teeth to the female's 20, they are less dangerous. 4 of the males can be described as fangs, both front-facing, 2 on top and 2 on bottom, each a centimeter above the gum line. Comparatively, females have 8 fangs, 4 in front and 2 on each side. Her front fangs are up to 1.5 centimeter above the gum line. The legends have preserved one important bit of truth regarding the fangs. They are used almost exclusively to suck blood from the vampire's prey. They bite into the flesh, most often of the neck or thigh, and the vampire uses its lips to create a seal around the incisions before sucking. However, study of their feeding habits has led me to an intriguing discovery. As soon as the beast separates itself from its prey, its saliva soothes the wound and encourages faster clotting. While this is pure speculation, your author theorizes that this is an adaptation to preserve the life of the prey in order to remain a consistent food source. Throughout its body, the tissue of the vampire is tight and strong. Even its skin resisted dissection from my sharpest scalpels. There is little to no fatty tissue found anywhere in its body. After thorough inspection, I believe this to be due to the unique nature of its diet. The musculature is powerful, and allows the vampire to perform feats of strength beyond the capability of the human, such as high leaps or climbing sheer rock faces. It also provides the creatures with an edge in close combat. Despite this, I have noticed vampires of all kinds, not just Draculae, shy away from personal combat. Indeed, combat altogether seems to avoid it. Study into this is ongoing. The oculus is another point of notability. Survivors of vampire captivity report that looking into the eyes of one puts one into a fugue, unable to resist or combat any suggestion by the vampire, slaves to its will. Post-mortem dissection of the eye reveals no outstanding differences from a human, and this author is led to believe that this is due to the sheer intimidating presence of the vampire couples with the confusion and lightheadedness that naturally follows a victim losing a large amount of their blood. The innards of the vampire also fail to distinguish themselves from a human in structure. However, I have noticed a phenomenon present in nearly every specimen dissected. Namely, a black mold or fungus, found across several organs of particularly long-lived members of Draculae. I remain unsure the origin or effects of such a mold, but have collected several samples and preserved them in the cache for future study. Diet. The diet of the common vampire is quite simple and is another of the few truths present in the numerous legends and myths surrounding the species. It subsists itself almost entirely on the blood of living organisms. Near all creatures are possible prey for it, but the vampire presents a preference for the fresh blood of humans. Whenever possible, it will seek out this food source over easier to acquire alternatives. However, if put against the threat of starvation, a vampire will begrudgingly feed from rats, cattle, fowl, swine, and other creatures unrecorded. This distinction appears to be mental. Subsisting off the blood of animals presents no visible damage to the health to vampires studied in captivity. Vampires have been seen consuming ale, wines, raw meat, cooked meat, bread, cheese, human flesh, and, in rare cases, other vampires. However, the only foodstuff needed for survival is blood. Behavior. The common vampire is as a wolf among sheep. It seeks to live among its prey, accruing note and power to better safeguard its tenacious position in the world of humans. Vampires are oft found at the highest echelons of society: nobles, bankers, men of means. The massive castles and towers of old have given way to new lairs. Manors and estates, filled with humans to serve and feed from. This is a manner of self-preservation. By disguising itself to appear as though human, the vampire secures its position as the epicenter of its world and masks its tracks from its own predators. Hunting. That predator is, of course, you. The vampire will never be truly human, no matter how well constructed the facade. The beast will seep through the cracks, appearing in the slightest of movements, a fanged smile here, a predatory hunger at the sight of an open wound or cut. To the untrained eye, these actions are invisible, but to the educated hunter, these are like a deer leaving prints in the freshly fallen snow, mistakes, accidents, hints it does not even realize it has left. Watch for these, they can be the difference between life and death. The slaying of the vampire is extraordinarily difficult, mostly due to its uniquely resistant body. Again, some legends hold true, the easiest way to eliminate a vampire is a stake driven entirely through the heart. This is less a weakness of the vampire and more of all beings. A hunter would be hard-pressed to find an entity that survives such a fatal wound. The composition of the stake is irrelevant. I have seen wood spears, metal lances, and once even a sharpened human bone successfully be the end of a vampire's long life. Aside from the stake, beheading also functions, though it is obviously more difficult to accomplish. Rooting the vampire into a position in which you can stake or behead them, though, is the most difficult part of hunting. They will have both human securities and beastly ones. Expect to be engaged in a long, slow battle with increasing difficulty. A hunt I undertook in Paris several years ago lasted a staggering 3 months. The beast had built itself as an eminent Parisian socialite with an estate on the river. I masqueraded as a visiting English minor lord and finally sprung my attack during one of its parties. I set the mansion aflame and, during the chaos, drove a burning length of oak through its back. This, I have come to find, is a particularly efficient strategy, both literally and metaphorically. Ideally, the beast will never know it is being hunted until the moment its world goes up in flames and it finds a stake through its heart. This is the ultimate platitude and lesson for the hunting of vampires. Find them, study them, and then, once they are truly at their most vulnerable, set them alight and drive a stake through its chest. Have no mercy, just like they would have none when sucking on your throat as you hang from chains in its dungeon should you fail. Happy hunting.